I swear I met her.
Degree, 9 times out of 10, you have to go and get a doctorate degree to become a big breadwinner. Okay, I know that eventually you're leaving from that field of study and you are in the works of going and becoming economically secure. See, that's not potential to me. You are a musician, yes, and so you make money. Yeah. If you take on one extra person and they lose their job, do you think that you'll be able to carry you all's household? Soon. Okay, so myself listening to you, as I stated, if I talk to you as a friend, because that's how dating starts, I'm listening to you, and if you have enough charisma, I'll look at you and I'll say, okay, this is a man who I think will eventually become economically secure for us. See, I want to date someone who is economically secure for himself first. So that's what I'm thinking about potential.
I'll be honest, I don't believe any of this.
You don't believe any of this?
It just comes straight to just superficial stuff.
Superficial?
I mean, we live in a superficial society. Women only want the men with money.
What if you could taste the movies?
We turned that idea into an $11.3 million business with Wix.
Yeah, as they should.
Thank you.
But
let's just cut the BS. It's about money.
Yeah, it is. That should be the number one thing when you're dating. That should be the first thing that you. One of the things. It's not just materialism. It's that as a woman,
And I think this right here, this one question right here, is the problem that we're having in our community. Right? Is that we have a subset that in our community. Let's go back. Let's play it again.
I think it just comes straight to just superficial stuff. Superficial. I mean, we live in a superficial society. Women only want the men with money.
Yeah, as they should.
Thank you.
But
let's just cut the BS. It's about money.
Yeah, it is. That should be the number one thing when you're dating. That should be the first thing that you. One of the things.
And this is one of the things that I always point out. I always say on the pod, and if you listen to the pod for a while, you do understand that one of the things that I always say is women are loyal to resources, right? So the guy in the gold right here, who again, not quite sure he's Afro-American, and the young lady is speaking in the olive, also not sure that they're African-American. So again, Jubilee low-key, I'm watching y'all because I do think y'all are discussing a lot of black issues without black Americans speaking, right? Without African-Americans speaking. But here's the thing. I don't blame her for her stance, right? Women should date men with money. I don't blame him for his stance saying that, you know what, women only want men with money, right? Now, this is true to a certain extent because, again, there's a lot of guys that are going to be chosen without money, right? But those guys are going to have access to something, right? Whether it's a good family, whether it is good genetics, right? Whether it's a good reputation in whatever venue that is. There's something that he's going to have that he's going to be the best at, that she's going to say, I want access to that, right? But we do got to acknowledge the fact that right now she's being very honest, and this is not an opportunity to bash her or be pissed off at her. I always say on the pod, women are loyal to resources.
It's not just materialism. It's that as a woman, we need to know.
It's not just about money, but I
do
agree.
There's just a lot of.
I would also like to point out that the moment that they brought up money, that now nobody can get a word in edgewise.
That'd be the number one thing that one of the top things that a woman should look at when she's dating.
It is the man.
It is. It should be.
Are you saying one of or the most important?
The most important, yes.
I partially disagree because I think there are, kind of like we mentioned earlier, there are preferences. If you find someone that is interested in a certain characteristic that you have, perfect, great for you. And so we have these assumptions that, oh, all women are superficial. That is not the case. Absolutely.
Majority.
Okay, well, that is
That's what the numbers
maybe
are.
what you
Words talk about actions. The actions say that women are superficial.
maybe what you encountered that may possibly
I
Women are loyal to resources.
be the
think
case.
there will be a lot of men.
However, can you let me finish? Okay. Historically, if we look at the role of a man and we look at the role of a woman, that is what is proposed societally to us. And maybe it comes down to security. That is a very, very important thing within a relationship, within a community, within a society. Security is important. At the end of the day, you need money to put food on the table. Whether you're by yourself, whether you're in a relationship, whether you...
Now, I would like to point out that what she's stressing right here is something that women have found to be a hard fact, right? She's saying that, hey, you got to put food on the table. You know, basically, love doesn't pay the bills, right? That, hey, there's something that you need to do in order to take care of your family, right? But I would like to point out that this conversation started by look at the very top left, right? Black men are intimidated by successful black women. That's the question that's being posed, right? All the women believe that's to be true. But when we got here and we started talking about the nuts and the bolts of it, instead of them saying, hey, you know what? You don't have to worry about putting food on the table, because as a successful black woman, I can put food on the table. What I need you here for is moral support. And I hate that the live stream went out, because we've let this play for the last 30 minutes. And at no point have any of the women said, you know what? I got it. So I'll take care of us. What I need you to do is to be here for emotional support, to be here for spiritual support, to be here to love on me, right? To give me companionship. That has not happened. What we have had is a conversation based around how much money a man do or don't have, despite the topic to this being black men are intimidated by successful black women, right? So what I'm pointing out here is the simple fact that it's not that black men are intimidated by successful black women. The problem is, no matter what level of success that black woman has, if she does not see anything tangible in you that she thinks can be number one in her life, she wants to go higher. She believes that she's dating beneath her. And I'm not mad that that's a point of view of women, and I'm not making this up. I've literally let this play for the last 30 minutes. And at no point have any of these successful women said, I don't need anything from a man financially. I just need emotional, sexual, desirable support. None of them have said that. They have all said, yep, you're not on my level. Every single one of them. Not one of them have said, I got you, babe. Right? So when you ask the question, are black men intimidated by successful black women? No, there's not an intimidation there. There's no gain there. There's no benefit, right? You're successful, and that helps me do what? That's the problem. Now, there are women out there that are successful, right? But I don't believe that they have the mindset that men are intimidated by them, right? I believe that there's women that are successful that's like, yo, I'm successful and I can contribute and I can still handle my roles and I can still take care of my man, right? Like, I'm just successful, right? That's just me, right? Because when you look at successful men that are in successful relationships, they're not saying, yo, I'm successful and I can make women submissive. I'm successful and I can abuse women. I'm successful and I can run through women, right? Most of them are like, yo, I'm successful, and if I decide to have a family, I'm successful and I'm a great dad. I'm successful and I'm a great husband. I'm like, the success, of course I'm great at being a husband. Of course I'm great at being a dad, because I'm great at this. But when we look at the reverse of this, or should I say the inverse of this, we have this same conversation going.
Is that a concern?
My thing is, if you're dating someone strictly for money, I don't want to hear you getting angry about him sleeping around or him doing whatever.
The men with no money do the same thing.
Exactly. It's a species topic we're talking about. Now,
The men with no money
and then
have
we
less
say,
options to do that.
and more time.
My point, what I'm saying,
But do the men with no money really have the option to sleep around with a lot of women?
Yes,
Yes, we
they
see it all the time.
Because it's a lot of women who have less money than no money. And if you are a man who has no money, but you're with a woman who has money, you have money. Because that's how women are.
That also goes back
They about to make me ruin my mic.
into validation. With you guys saying that's a bad man if he doesn't have X, Y, Z, then you also need to look at, why does a man need to be emasculated for not being where he wants to be?
And if you're a wealthy man and you want other women, get into a polygamous relationship. You do not have to cheat.
Okay, it's not that many wealthy men around, so I don't even know why this is even a point. But again, I would like to point out that at no point have anyone discussed black men are intimidated by successful black women. That's the biggest reason why I played this tonight, right? This is the biggest reason why I played this. Because, again, there's accusations that are just lobbed against black men, right? The black men have to defend themselves against. But when given the opportunity for us to have a conversation about it, at no point has anybody addressed what's actually being accused of black men. A black man actually being accused of.
Men at the top 10% that most women want are generally like that and have options, and they're not going to settle for just one woman.
So why portray us if you want one woman.
I don't think they
portray.
do.
Who said they portray if they want one woman?
It's not a secret.
Most men go to that level just so they can get the amount of women.
I mean, it's a complete double standard, but I think it is the reality that I think men want the idea of this woman is only having sex with me because men.
Territorial.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, again, this is a double standard, not excusing the.
Also, bullshit. Not really a standard because men sleep with other men's women all the time.
This, but you know, the amount of men who are obsessed with a woman being a virgin, but also wanting them to be this like sex.
Also, BS. Again, this guy got to get out of the house a little bit more. Men do not expect women to be virgins anymore.
Sexual dominatrix as well. Complete idiocy, but yeah, I think unfortunately men would rather know that their women are only sleeping with them, but then they are happy to give it out wherever.
I disagree. I think men just want, obviously they want their women to only be sexual with them, not with other men. And I don't think that's stupid or idiotic in any way.
Well, I just think it's a double standard because if we expect ourselves to be able to put it out anywhere, then I think it would be fair.
Now, let me stress what he's trying to do here, right? He's trying to create a double standard, right? And I know what double standard he's trying to create. And again, it's a terribly weak argument. For one, men have less fertility partners than women, right? You can go look up fertility partner statistics, and they'll show you men have less fertility partners than women, right? So by fertility partners, I mean like men have less baby mamas than women have baby daddies. 1, 2, men have less children than women. All right, 3. All right, the point he's trying to make a point here that men are allowed to sleep with more women than women are allowed to sleep with men. The only time this really comes into being an issue is fertility, right? Who's the not fertility? Excuse me, paternity, right? Who's the daddy, right? That's the only time this has come into play, right? And that's going to always be a thing, right? Paternity. Now, you can't take that away from men, right? Men should be allowed to know if they are the father of a child. It happens to whereas guys don't know. Men sometimes are like, you know what? I've invested so much time. I'll stick it out, whatever. It is what it is. But there's a reason why it's a difference between men and women. You could disagree with the how, right? But if you want to know the why, there is a difference there. So he's trying to argue something that, one, is not statistically correct, right? There's more women that are parents. Women have more fertility partners than men. And men are concerned about paternity, whereas a woman doesn't have to be concerned about maternity because obviously she knows she had a baby.
There's a
It
reason
depends
why.
on the person, depends the kind of guy you're talking about.
There's a reason why women can get pregnant by one man every 9 months, but a man can get multiple women pregnant.
Oh, of course, yeah. Evolution-wise, yeah, we want to throw it everywhere we can, but I think for modern relationships, that doesn't necessarily work.
I just wonder, do most women want to sleep with multiple people the way most men want to sleep with multiple people? I think, do they want to say yes?
I would say yes. They do it.
I just think that men, a lot of guys intrinsically, when they have more options, they want to exercise them, versus I think a lot of women, a lot of time, when they're committed to one person, would rather just be with that one person.
Okay, here's naive, and we're going to end on that. But the reason why I played this clip tonight, because y'all know I'm the black man Bell's bondsman. I am, and I'm never going to pretend not to be. So if you come here and you're like, I want to come here and I want to argue with Pastor Mike Will, like, for one, when black men are wrong, they're wrong. I Dana White it for the most part. I ain't even gonna lie. But when I see things like this, right, when I see black men are intimidated by successful black women, right, and then look at the title that they have here, I only date white men, right? Everything about this panel right here is anti-black male. And I have to address it as, the co-host of Black Dads Club, especially as the black guy that constantly defend black men. But I played this whole segment right here. And, I'm going to play it again in the future when we get the graphics up and everything's better. I'm going to replay it again because that question was never answered. Not one time. Accusations was lobbied. That's all. You had guys that did not press, hard questions, right? You had women that gave their versions of stories. But at no point did anybody ever answer the question, are black men intimidated by successful black women? Right? And that's purposeful, right? Because the truth of the matter is no one roots for the success of black women more than black men. And I know the first thought would be like, well, black women, right? But no, like the biggest hating, you would never find a group of men that's ever hating on a black woman, right? What's the sister that married Star Wars, right? I can't think of their name right now. I think she ran a finance company, right? You never find a black man that was like, yo, I hate her for being successful at what she doing. You couldn't find it, right? You never find, and my laptop's about to go dead, but you never find a black man that's like, you know what? The hell with Michelle Obama for being a Harvard educated attorney. You won't find it, right? Because black men are not intimidated by the success of black women. We love it. We enjoy it. We push for it, right? But if you're going to tell me that you are a boss, right, and you're coming into my life, you being a boss should not be you saying that we're going to do everything that I want to do, right? You being a boss should mean that, like, hey, I'm able to provide you with the lifestyle that you can't provide yourself. Because as a man, when I come into a woman's life and I'm like, yo, I'm a boss, right? I'm not there to tell her to make sandwiches and fold laundry and, whatever it is, right? Run a bunch of errands, right? If I come into her life and I'm like, yo, I'm a boss, right? It's like, yo, you ain't got to go to work. Come with me. You ain't got to do this. Come do this with me. You ain't got to cook tonight. We're going here, right? That's what it looks like when a man is successful, when a man is a boss. And what men are simply saying is like, hey, when you tell me that you're a boss, I'm not receiving that from you, right? If you're a boss and I'm not a boss, right? I'm a school teacher. You're a VP of sales at a tech company, right? You're not telling me that I'm going to make your life easier. You're telling me, yo, you haven't caught up to where I'm at yet. Why do you deserve me? So to answer that question that's in the upper left corner, black men are intimidated by successful black women, nobody answered the question. And everybody's afraid of it. Everybody's afraid to touch this. You just let them talk. You let them say whatever they're going to say. Nobody's going to push back. And we're going to end up where we always end up in this community, which is never ahead. But that's all I got tonight, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in tonight. Sorry about the technical issues. I don't know what's up with Meta when it comes to streaming. Eventually, I'm going to just take everything to just YouTube, and we'll just go on YouTube, and we'll just do it there. I'll come on Meta for like 20 minutes, and then tell everybody we're on YouTube, and we'll go from there. But that's all I got tonight, man. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Please listen to the podcast that we dropped today. Definitely share it with somebody.